Hi, welcome to Orchids with Varney. This is what has fast become definitely my top three favourite orchids now is Vanda Paksorn Fragrance, which I bought it partly because I love this kind of unusual colour combination, but the main reason was for the fragrance. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but for now I want to focus on the stunning flowers. I love this combination of pink and sort of ruddy, reddy brown colour. Really, really unusual, very, very exotic. The lip, you can see this pink lip. To me it looks like an underwater coral that's bright pink. Really, really lovely and unusual. I love this kind of little spotted area just sort of there. I think it's gives it another little extra something. And then the petals, this ruddy red going into kind of darker mahogany brown with that dark brown spotting is really, really special combined with the pink. So I love this. It's the first time it's bloomed for me. It's just for Greg's Paksorn Fragrance. It's not a named clone of it. So I don't think this would get awarded anyway because the petals reflex perhaps a little bit more than the judges would like. I mean, I don't mind. I think this is just perfect to me. And the fragrance is sublime. It's hard to describe. Almost its own sort of scent profile, really. It brings to mind chocolate, but like a very floral sort of chocolate. Really nice, really hard to describe. Very much worth getting hold of this plant and growing it to enjoy the fragrance. And it's very, very powerful, which is one of the other things I wanted, is a wafting sort of fragrance that can hopefully fill a room, or you can smell it if you're in the vicinity. And I'm growing it in my grow tent. It goes on the top shelf there under the bright lights, and you can see I've got an oscillating fan. So when it's back in on the shelf there and the fan is blowing air around, I could be on the other side of the room and I'll get little kind of wafts of this really lovely fragrance. So really one of the most powerfully fragrant orchids that I've grown. And if you put your nose in and give it a sniff up close, it really does feel like your nasal passages are getting like seared with so much fragrance. It's almost feels like you shouldn't be doing it. It's too strong, which I also love. It's just such a brilliant plant for fragrance. This I actually only got it about 4 months ago, so I'm a little bit worried this is actually a stress flowering, but I'm happy to have the flowers either way. You can see it's in a terracotta pot with these hydroleca, the clay balls, so when I got this orchid, it was just growing in one of those little plastic hangy baskets with nothing on its roots. You know, it would have to get misted down every day, and which I don't have the capacity to do that at the time. And so I decided that I would, and I've done this before to other Vandas, is tease the roots. I had to chop off a few of the very long roots, but tease most of the roots into this pot, just top it up with the hydroleca, the clay balls, and then when I water it, I make sure that it absolutely is at least dry for a couple of days between waterings, so that those roots, the aerial roots, or previously aerial roots, will absolutely dry out, and dry out quite quickly. It will be dry within 24 hours, maybe 2 days at most, after I water it here. Because when I water, I let the water run through, I let it completely drip dry, and then I put it back into the tray, this little pot base. I don't let any water sit in there, so that the roots do dry quite quickly, because those aerial roots will never adapt to being damp for a prolonged period, whereas any new roots it develops that grow into the mix, if it's kept damper, they will adapt to the mix they're growing into, as long as it's dries out fairly quickly between watering. The old roots will never adapt, so I'm trying to kind of keep it very airy, very fast drying, so the old roots don't rot. I've done this before with other Vandas, it works perfectly well, but you really do have to let it dry out between watering. It's not too big a plant at the moment. It will get quite tall in time. I'm hoping that it might produce, double spikes would be brilliant. It's only produced a spike once before. Oh no, two actually. It's 1 spike, 2 spike, 3 spike. Kind of, you can see that, which is great. 1, 2, 3, and nothing on the other side. So I'm hoping it'll also spike on the other side, and then once it's spiking on both sides, hopefully we can get a double spike. But this is Vanda Paksorn Fragrance. Easy plant to grow it warm, bright light, and water, and let it dry thoroughly in between waterings. And it does need plant food like everything else that you grow in pots. And you can see I got it in highlight, you can see how pale yellow. I actually think I might turn the LED down a notch. It's on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to turn it down just 1 because I think it's actually getting too much light. It's a little bit too yellow for my liking, and you can see the reddish anthocyanin in the leaf. It's another sign it's in really quite high light. I don't want to reduce the light to the point where it's all dark green. That would mean it probably wouldn't flower again, but I think it might be just a little bit above what really would be ideal. However, you can see it's very tolerant, very easy to grow, and very recommendable. So this is Vanda Paksorn Fragrance. Thanks for watching. Happy growing. This is Orchids with Barney.